Welcome back to the Smile Reconstruction Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Tanner Townsend, along with my co-host, Dr. Josh Muir.
Hi, guys.
And today we're going to talk a little bit about someone that's dealt with dentures, and they finally said, I've had enough with that. And we're going to see what their life looks like after they've gone to an implant solution. So, Dr. Muir, imagine we've got someone, they've been dealing with dentures for 10 plus years, and they finally decide to go the implant route, whether it's for a snap-on denture or an all-on-4 or a 3-on-6. What do you think their life actually looks like 6 months later after they've gotten their final teeth and all that?
Yeah, great question. And this is such a real scenario. I'll share just a quick story about my dad.
Yeah.
My dad had his teeth worked on, and I didn't know this growing up, but he was always embarrassed about a certain thing about his teeth.
Yeah.
Many years later, I go through dentistry and all of that, and we fix it. And one of his neighbors said, "Hey, what's different about you?" And they said, "Did you whiten your teeth?" "No." "Did you," they named a bunch of things.
Yeah.
What it was, he was no longer self-conscious and he smiled. And what I didn't realize was my dad never smiled in photos all growing up. But now, as I'm an adult and he's a grandfather, he's smiling.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. So here's someone that for, how many years? 40 years was self-conscious and then feels better about it now.
Yeah, 100% the same way. They just everyone that we've done this larger treatment on, where we've moved them from dentures to implant-supported teeth, they are way more confident. They smile. They're so much happier. It's crazy. So when you first heard the term all-on-4, and before you knew what it was, what did you picture? And I know this is kind of a tricky question for us, but what do you feel like patients picture?
Yeah, I mean, it means nothing.
It means
I
nothing,
don't think
right?
it means anything to anyone,
Yeah. You have no reference of what it is. So when patients say like, hey, I want to go home with the same day teeth, they often hear like, oh, I'm going to get teeth in a day, or I'm going to get full arch fixed, or like, what does that actually like mean? Because I think that's like something we hear really often through consults, and it's like, okay, well, but let's talk through that and make sure everyone's on the same understanding of what that means.
The biggest misconception would be when a patient thinks that all patients are created equally.
Yeah.
Everyone comes in with the same, canvas and everyone leaves with the same painting is simply not true. The other thing is, as a big misconception, some patients will come into a consult, we'll talk about it, and they'll say, okay, where are my teeth? It's like, well, I'm only just meeting you for the first time 5 minutes ago. We don't have your teeth right now.
Yeah.
And so teeth in a day, what it means is, let's meet, let's plan, let's get some records, let's set up a surgical appointment. And by the time you leave that surgical appointment, you should have new teeth, or by the next morning or something like that. So teeth in a day isn't really teeth in a day in most cases.
Yeah.
But what it means is if we make the right plan, when we start the treatment, within about a day, you're going to have a new smile.
Yeah.
And so in that respect, it's very accurate. But patients don't know that right as they go into it.
Another common misconception I feel like patients get confused about is like, oh, once I get those teeth, then it's all done. I don't need to see you again.
Oh, man.
I can eat whatever I want. And it's like, no. Like, we have to let those implants heal. We're going to, make sure the bite's right. Make sure that the implants heal. You don't just put them in and they're automatically there forever. They have to heal and fuse to the bone.
And what patients need to understand and what we explain is we do start with a prototype.
Yeah.
We want to make sure these teeth look right for you, feel right, and function right.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes we go from a mouth that has a lot of issues and crooked teeth and decayed and broken, and we go straight from there to something that actually does look really nice.
Yeah.
The prototype was very close to what it really should be. But I would say the majority of the time, it's close, but there are little teeny tweaks we want to make.
Yeah.
And so patients are sometimes surprised that, yeah, it is more than one appointment because you deserve that. We could say, hey, it's one and done, see you later, but that's
really
not the
want
best
that?
outcome.
Yeah.
It's not a one size fits all. So I was telling you about that patient that in the consult, I told him, well, you're gonna come back more than once. What? Why?
Yeah.
Well, you deserve to come back. You deserve for us to check the healing. You deserve so much. We want it to be right.
Yeah. I think those are some excellent points. So let's talk about like a patient that's had this experience where they've gone from like a denture and gotten implants for either a snap-in or a screwed-in fixed denture. What's that moment that always sticks out to you, or a specific patient that sticks out to you when they got their teeth? Do you have a moment?
Yeah. What's amazing is patients will picture in their mind what they think is most important to them.
Uh-huh.
For example, a patient will say, man, I just can't wait to eat steak again, for example.
Uh-huh.
But then they get their teeth, they're eating steak, and it is every bit as wonderful as they thought it would be. What they didn't realize is that while they're eating steak, they met a new friend, and now they're social. They're in relationships. They're going out and being public with speaking and being around people. That is the aha moment, the surprise. And then the other thing, and this happens over half of the time, I would say, when we truly do a smile reconstruction, when people think, oh, I can't wait to have my teeth again, when they finally get to look in the mirror and they realize, oh my goodness, I didn't realize I was getting me again. I look in the mirror and I see me, not someone else. When patients say that, and it's amazing how many say something very similar to that, I finally look like myself again. That's a realization that's just, that's so real for them. And it's hard to even explain to someone that that's going to happen until it clicks.
Yeah.
And that's also when the tears come for them, for us. And I mean, that's what makes this so cool to be a part of,
Mm-hmm. So if you've got someone that's sitting on the fence about feeling like themselves again, like they want that feeling, and they might not even know they want that yet, or they want to be social again, what would you tell that person?
Well, this is a similar answer to many similar questions. It's like, guys, you've got to take that first step. Mm-hmm. We can educate you. We can put videos and podcasts and blogs and ads on the internet and on TV about what this is and what that is. But guys, you've got to take that first step to make it personal to you, because I can't tell you without seeing you what's the perfect treatment for you. But guys, we've removed all the roadblocks. Come in and just visit with us.
Yeah.
It's a no pressure, no sales tactics. It's truly, let's take a look and see what your situation is with your anatomy, your bone, your health, with your desires and goals. We will come up with solutions for you, give you the pros and cons to those solutions, because every solution has a pro and a con. And then we let you make a decision that's right for you. And whatever that is, we'll support you in it, because we'll have gone over the pros and cons. So if you're on the fence about it, or if you're leaning towards doing something, the trick is do something.
Yeah.
Even if it's just starting with some education about truly what your situation is. And you do that by having a consult. And we include that CT scan so you can actually see what your bone is doing, and we can tell you truly what you're a candidate for.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. It was excellently said. Well, schedule your free consult with us today if you're curious about that, and if you're on the fence of wanting to feel like yourself again and not knowing quite where to start. We can help point you in the right direction. Well, that is it for today's episode of the Smile Reconstruction Podcast. We thank you for joining us, and we will catch you in the next episode.